everybody, Jordan here, and today we have a new Minecraft video. Today, we're showcasing a Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 in their current livery with their new retrofit interior. Now, as you probably have known if you followed me on my previous channel, I used to do a ton of Southwest stuff, so I'm really excited to bring it to this new channel, so let's get started. Anyways, the Southwest Airlines 737 MAX is becoming the workhorse of their fleet. The MAX 8 has overtaken the 800 as the most popular, well, the second most used aircraft in their fleet. And yeah, this features all of Southwest's newest and latest features. And I'm really excited for that because Southwest has kind of been lacking in some of their products lately. And this is kind of a step in the right direction. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these things kind of being implemented. So yeah, but anyways, we'll talk about that when we get to the interior. Let's start with the exterior of the airplane. Here's the nose gear of the 737 MAX 8. This is 8 inches taller compared to the NG. And here is the heart right here at the boarding door. It says Southwest on the airplane. We have the underbelly heart right here. And we have the CFM LEAP 1B engines. We have the overwing exits, we have the wing, and the AT winglets with the Southwest logo. The Southwest design right there. Towards the empennage of the aircraft, we have a SATCOM antenna which provides Viasat Wi-Fi. This is a much improved Wi-Fi experience compared to their 700s that have Anuvu Wi-Fi, which is nowhere near as good as the Viasat Wi-Fi on their Maxes and whatnot. Anyways, here's the empennage of the airplane. We have a registration, the American flag, the swooping gray stripes, and the tail design, as well as the tail skid device, trim tabs, auxiliary power unit with the redesigned empennage for the MAX that is more aerodynamic. We have a logo light as well as the other side of the airplane. Here's the aft cargo bay, and here is the forward cargo bay of the aircraft, and here's what the right side of the 737 MAX for Southwest looks like. I really like this airplane. I have gotten to the point now where I kind of roll my eyes a little bit when I see that I'm flying on a 700 because the MAXes are a much better experience for Southwest Airlines. I'm going to talk about that a lot more when we go into the cabin, but these are becoming the workhorse of the fleet. There are more MAXes in the fleet than 800s, and that number is only going to grow as they start doing sale leasebacks of 800s or start retiring some of their NGs, as Southwest wants to retire all of their NGs and be a MAX-only airline by 2031, assuming they don't take on another fleet type. There's been some hints that they might acquire another fleet type sometime in the future, but there's no confirmed info on that yet. But, you know, interesting times. But enough of that. Let's start talking about it with the interior. So, as you can see, this is a very different interior than my Southwest stuff in the past because Southwest Airlines is undergoing a transformation with their interiors and onboard product and for their entire brand, honestly, really. So let's talk about the interior and the seats first. So these are the new Recaro R2 seats. Now, I know that sounds really boring, but this is kind of interesting for Southwest Airlines, as Southwest has traditionally used the Collins Meridian seats. I believe it's Collins. It might be BE Aerospace, but I think it's Collins now from Rockwell Collins. Meridian seats. Now, the Meridian seat is the exact same seat that is used by American Airlines, British Airways, and other carriers like that, whereas the Recaro R2 seat, which is an improved version of, I forget the specific type of what it is, but it's essentially the same seat that Alaska Airlines and a lot of European carriers use, and it's also a variant of, well, kind of like a, you know, distant cousin to the type of seat that Delta uses on their wide-body fleet. So yeah, the fact that Recaro was able to get Southwest as a supplier and drop their current Meridian seats is impressive. That's very impressive. But these are the new seats. They're not in service just yet. They'll be introduced on deliveries in, I believe, October of 2025. And I am really interested to see what these are like. All of the employees and people who have said they've sat in them said they are an improvement. They're a lot more comfortable than the current seats. So that's nice to hear. Southwest Airlines looked at, I believe, 11 different seat manufacturers and different seat options when they were doing their overhaul. And they found that the Recaro R2 is the most comfortable seat and is also just the most economical and easiest to work with. So I'm really excited to see how this goes out with the new cabin. Now, Southwest Airlines hasn't optioned out the cheapest slimline option. These seats actually have more padding than their current seats and better lumbar support. They are ambidextrous. They allow for cup holders on the left and right side. They have in-seat power and they have an adjustable headrest, and it's really just stepping it up for Southwest, which is really good because traditionally Southwest's onboard product kind of lacked. It was a little ridiculous that they had like a fleet with no in-seat power, especially since they were flying to destinations such as Hawaii or flying 6 or 7 hour legs at their 737s, and that's a little bit unacceptable. So I'm excited to see this. But anyways, as you can see, these seats have a different headrest cover as opposed to the other part of the cabin, and that's because Southwest Airlines is also introducing extra extra legroom economy, and it's in service right now. I've flown on it right now. 163 airplanes at the time of this video are retrofitted with the extra legroom economy options, and they retrofit about 20 of them a week. They're moving at like breakneck speeds for this, because what Southwest Airlines wants to do is that when they go online with assigned seating in 2026, I believe in the first quarter, with sailing happening in the third or fourth quarter of this year, they want it so that they can literally just snap their fingers and in one day just say have everything online, and they can switch to the new thing all in one day and not have a sub fleet of airplanes that have assigned seating and have the extra legroom and some don't. This just allows for easier operations and whatnot and everything. Now, if you fly Southwest Airlines right now, none of the airplanes have the headrest indicators because they kind of want to keep everything kind of, you know, under wraps a little bit. But there are about 100, there's 163 airplanes in the fleet. So there is a chance that you could get on one of these and get an extra legroom seat without even noticing it. I didn't even notice it until I was deboarding. So yeah, anyways, I sat in seat 27A, which is about back here, and I had that view there. And yeah, I didn't even notice I was on a retrofitted Max. It was a relatively brand new Max. So I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks old. And I was like, you know, I didn't notice because the legroom was fine. It was really, it felt like nothing had changed. And then as I was deboarding, I looked over and I was like, wait a minute. This is kind of, wait a minute, this is extra legroom. And then I went over to the front of the airplane. I sat down, I got out my little, I didn't have a ruler or a measuring tape or anything, but I had like my glasses holder. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a lot more legroom than back there, because I did some comparisons. But anyways, I think this is a good step forward. I think this is a good middle ground. It allows Southwest to still have an all economy competitive layout, so that if, you know, a recession hits or something happens where they need to fill this up with all, you know, lower fares, you can do that without losing that floor space revenue that some business classes can have. So it's kind of a good medium. Extra legroom economy is actually one of the most profitable things that you can do in an airplane, and it just gives them a lot of capability, especially if a recession hits or something, as you're still maximizing floor space, but you're still getting extra revenue there. So yeah, I know Southwest Airlines is going through a lot of significant changes to their business model, getting rid of free bags, going to assigned seating, adding red eyes, international partnerships, launching getaways, potentially new fleet types, potentially going to Europe and stuff like that. I know it's a lot of changes. You know, not all of these are the best changes that are most exciting or great, but, you know, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. I'm kind of in the camp of like, hey, let's just wait and see, because in all fairness, I do think Southwest Airlines had a lot of things to improve. They used to have double-digit profit margins of about 12% or whatnot, and now they're having 1 to 2% profit margins. So they're not losing money yet, but they're really close, and they would rather start fixing the brand and fixing the profitability now rather than be, you know, scathing off Chapter 11, desperately trying to make money like some other airlines are. So, you know, trying to jump ship on it early. And I understand that the business model worked well for 40 something years, if not 50 years. But remember, you could say the exact same thing for Blockbuster. Herb Kelleher himself said, if you don't change, you will die. And the airline industry is constantly changing. Passenger trends are constantly changing. So you need to be adaptable to that. So I'm really interested to see how this goes out. But anyways, I feel like I didn't mention this, but even though Southwest Airlines is installing new Recaro R2 seats optioned on their new deliveries, they're still using their existing seats right now. They're just reshuffling them. So when I say that there's 163 airplanes in the fleet right now with extra legroom economy, that's with the existing seat design. That they do not have the new Recaro seats. Although there will be a subset of 800s that get the new Recaro seats because they have the old Evolve seats. Yeah, the BE Aerospace Innovator, seats that I think they're going to be getting rid of. But yeah, I think this airplane is pretty cool. Again, I had a chance to fly on a newly configured airplane. I really am liking how the Maxes are. The Viasat Wi-Fi is so much better than the Anuvu Wi-Fi on the 700s. It has in-seat power. It's got good legroom, good product. I think this is a good step in the right direction, and I'm really interested to see where they go. But excuse me, that's basically everything. Here's what the cockpit looks like. It's like every other 737 cockpit. We have the main panel, MCP, rudder pedals, captain's yoke, first officer's yoke, first officer seat, captain's seat. Well, it's a 737 cockpit. Nothing else really changes, and it's kind of small, so not much I can really show there. But yeah, that's the Southwest Airlines 737 MAX. I ended up making the Herb Kelleher special as well as the Colleen Barrett special livery, and we're working on a MUA 1 right now. So probably I'll come back and do another video where I showcase the entire fleet or all of the liveries in the fleet, similar to what I did with the 737-500 and what I did with Delta Airlines. But Yeah, that's all I have really for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these changes. If you're excited to see what the new Southwest product is like, let me know if you've had a chance to fly on it. What are your thoughts on these things? And I'd love to read these comments. So yeah. Anyways, I also have a Discord server if you'd like to check out these renders and previews of what I'm working on before I release videos. We have tons of really cool people and really awesome builders if you'd like to see what we're all working on, and aviation enthusiasts and gaming enthusiasts and whatnot. So yeah, we'd love to have you. So anyways, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode. I'm Jordan. Thank you so much for watching.